That's fun.
That sounds fun.
It is actually. Good.
Yeah, it's such a fun piece.
Are we good? Are we nearly?
Yep.
That tapestry is really quite
Isn't that pretty?
striking, actually, isn't it?
We just had it cleaned as part of like a bigger like renovation project we did over the summer. We renovated the entire middle section of the building between this part of the building and the preschool.
Okay.
This sanctuary was built in 1990.
Okay.
The chapel was built in 1956.
Okay. Save that.
I'll save that for later. Okay.
Not sure if he's ready yet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I'm sitting in Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Bethesda, and tonight we have a very special concert. I'm dedicating the new Viscount Unico organ, and in the distance there you can see it. It is a cracking organ. She can pack a punch, she really can. And I'm sitting with Andrew Kullberg, who is the director of music here. It is great to sit with you and chat.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for inviting me to
Absolutely.
play this wonderful instrument. And it's in position now for concert, so it sounds very different.
And we have the piano up there too.
We have the piano up there for something we're going to do during the program.
Yes.
So how long have you been here, Andrew?
I just came to Emmanuel in November of last year.
Wow.
So I haven't been here very long, but I've been doing church music ministry for over a decade now.
I always think it takes the whole church year to get to know it, doesn't it?
Yes,
whole
absolutely.
Now you're entering the really busy time of the church. Yeah, so what do you actually do here? I know you're a director.
So I play organ or piano for the music and the worship services. We have a choir that sings almost every Sunday. We have a handbell ensemble that I direct, and they play about once a month or so.
Okay.
And we have a children's choir also that we just started earlier this fall, and they're going to be singing for the first time later in October. They're going to be singing for the first time in front of the people.
So you have one choir rehearsal, well, I guess you have two choir rehearsals a week, right?
Three, because the choir, the handbells, and the children's choir, so there's three altogether.
Right, so that's busy, that is busy.
It's fun though. It's a really good place to work. The congregation's really, really friendly. The pastor's really great, and it's been a good time working here too.
So tell me about the Viscount. Why the Viscount?
So, believe it or not, it actually started with my previous church position. We were looking into doing some possible renovations on the organ that we had there. And the project didn't end up working out in the end, but I found out about Viscount organs on YouTube. Just found Viscount's YouTube channel and looked at some videos of some of the different organists that Josh Dove and others had playing on the channel and everything. And that was how I discovered some of your music too, actually, because you had recorded a couple videos for Viscount and an entire album too, actually.
I have,
right.
Rejoice.
Yes, that's the one with some really good selections on that album too, and I was recommended that album.
That organ was in Charlottesville, Virginia, University of Charlottesville, University of Virginia, I should say.
Okay.
Charlottesville, a beautiful Catholic church. Seats about over 2,000 people. Wow. The acoustics in there were just to die.
Now, was it a hybrid or all digital?
Yes. No, it was a hybrid.
Okay.
And, I mean, she just blended in the building. They did a cracking job. I missed that organ very much leaving. That's always a problem, isn't it? When you move on, you have to leave something behind that you really cherish, and I cherished that organ.
And I was able to go up and play a Viscount for the first time up in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
I played that one too. That is a great instrument, yeah.
Yeah, that 4-manual organ. It's up in the balcony. It's a marvelous instrument, and the acoustics in the room are outstanding.
Yes.
It's remarkable how they're able to get the sound of a very small number of pipes combined with the digital instrument that they've combined with it. It's just a brilliant, brilliant combination they have up there.
It is. The best stop on the organ is the acoustics. It really is. So tell me about yourself. When did you first hear an organ?
In church, actually.
How old were you?
Since my parents had me going to church since my mother was clear to go back and start attending again after I was born. But my earliest memories of the organ were when I was a little kid, probably kindergarten or so. And our organist was very nice. She was a very good musician. Her name was Eleanor Flotman, and she served as director of music and organist at Montgomery Hills Baptist Church for a long time. And I used to go up to where the organ was up in the choir loft, and I would sit and watch her play. And she was very sweet. She would often have me like come and sit up on the bench with her.
That's so nice.
And she would let me like, push the stops and try the keys and everything when the service was over.
Could you play piano? I mean, you could. Right.
Well, I started piano lessons when I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And
so how old is that? Because people in the UK don't know what 3rd grade is.
So I would have been about 8 years old when I started playing. Yeah. And my grandmother was a teacher, and she had a piano in her house. And my parents wanted to make sure that I was going to be serious with music, even though I had always loved listening to music. I was obsessed with the instruments of the orchestra. Like I had toy instruments at home and everything, but they wanted to make sure that I was going to actually stick with the piano for a decent period of time. So I had to go to my grandmother's house for my piano lessons every week, and the teacher would come there, and I'd have my private lessons. And when I was 12 years old, for Christmas that year, we got our first piano for the house, because they knew by then I was going to stick with it. That's and cool. That I was going to keep playing at that point. But I didn't really start playing the organ until much later. I was really just playing piano up until partway into my first church job. The organist had his full-time job take him overseas, and they were in need of somebody who could play temporarily. And so I said, I don't know much about the organ,
that's it.
but I stepped up to it and really sort of just taught myself how to play.
Good for you.
At that point, I could not pronounce the names of any of the stops. but I fell in love with the instrument right away, and just all of the things that you could do with it. And really, the rest just kind of, went from there. I went from organist to director of music, and then moved on to another church after that. And it was at the Episcopal Church I served at, Episcopal Church of the Ascension, where I really became a serious organist. That was where I really started practicing more, playing more serious rep, because we had a Cassavant organ that could handle more serious rep and everything.
So who did you do your studies with during that time? Where were you studying?
Studying, like, you mean organ lessons?
Yes.
I wasn't taking them.
Wow. So
no, I was just completely self-taught.
What were you actually studying? Because you said you speak 3 languages. I mean,
yeah, the 3 languages thing is, I learned Spanish when I was growing up. Like, I took Spanish classes in school, and I have Swedish ancestry. My grandfather's family came to America from Jönköping, and I wanted to learn the language just as sort of a way of connecting that part of my lineage. So I didn't learn Swedish till I was older.
Wow.
And I taught myself how to speak Swedish with Duolingo, of all things.
Lord.
And I actually was pretty successful. My wife and I took a trip to Stockholm and Gothenburg last year, and I communicated very well with everybody, and the only time I asked for English was when we were renting a car. I said, there's no way that I'm going to, mess up anything that involves insurance and the like.
Did you get to see some of the organs in Sweden?
We did.
Oh, they are stunning.
We did.
I played over there a number of times. Gorgeous.
Yeah, the church in Stockholm that has the large statue of St. George and the dragon, we got to see the organ in that cathedral.
The tallest spire, the green spire near the railway station. I played there years and years ago, and I remember rehearsing late at night, very tall spire, and it was a huge thunderstorm outside. It was pretty scary, actually, knowing that spire was so tall, but beautiful. On
that same trip, we also went to Copenhagen, and we got to see the organ at Trinitatis Church in the middle of the city. And it just so happened that when we walked in, the organist was there practicing.
Oh, how cool.
When we came in. He was playing some Bach. I don't remember what piece it was, but it was just beautiful, and it filled the room. And one last thing about the trip, we took a little day trip to the town that my grandfather's family came from, and visited St. Sophia's Church, which is right in the downtown of Jönköping, and they have a beautiful organ console up in the gallery there. And the organist happened to be there when we walked in, because there was a baptism that afternoon. And so I chatted with him, and he let me play the organ.
Oh, how cool.
And so I had to play a Swedish hymn on the organ, so I played How Great Thou Art, or in Swedish, O Stora Gud. And the music director was standing there, and he started singing along while I was playing, and he was singing the words in Swedish, and it was just a really cool connection to get to meet a music director in another country and bond over the hymnody that we have.
You could make some good ties over there, couldn't you? I mean, think about taking choir over there and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, it's just
great.
A lot of places do that. I mean, and they want to come here as well. So I mean, it's always a traffic you could cultivate.
There's actually another musician who lives in Copenhagen who I met through Instagram, actually, who has the same last name I do. And we tried to figure out if we were related in any way, but we really didn't come to any conclusions. But he plays in a classical music group, and we actually just started talking back and forth about having his group, when they come to America, coming and playing here in 2025.
Oh, that is good.
And that would be just remarkable. He's a cellist.
Yeah.
And he can play standard classical rep, but he also will often turn the cello sideways and play it with sort of guitar-like technique, and it's really remarkable.
If you can open up to the universities around here and they can do a master class and stuff, I mean, there's a lot that can be done with musicians coming in. Yeah. That's one of the great things about being a musician, isn't it?
Yes.
That you get to travel. I recently come back from Spain playing, and couldn't speak like you. I mean, I struggled around, but I could play the organ over there, and oh my goodness me, it was just wonderful. You know, to me, music is the universal language. It doesn't matter where you go, sit and play music, and you connect with people.
Where in Spain did you go?
San Sebastian.
Oh, wonderful.
And the cathedral there, oh, it was hot. The cathedral honestly felt like a pizza oven late at night.
Was it summertime?
Yes.
Spanish summer is no joke.
I mean, it was really hot, but the organ was beautiful, really beautiful. And it's just
wonderful.
Unique acoustics again.
How do they keep it from going out of tune with all the heat?
Well, they do go out of tune. That's part of the character of them, isn't it, really?
Right.
So have you been to France? Have you studied? Have you gone over there?
I've never been to France before.
You have to go. I mean, a lot of those instruments can be out of tune, but it doesn't matter. They're just fantastic organs.
Yeah.
So do you teach?
I do. So my other job outside of the church is I teach for Montgomery County Public Schools.
What do you teach?
I am an elementary school general music teacher. Wow. So I teach kindergarten through 5th grade. Yeah. Music classes, and the students have music once per week for about 40-45 minutes. Are they good? I mean, I like to think so.
No, do they listen? I mean,
of course.
All right. Oh, no, of course.
I run a very tight ship in my classroom, but I keep things very positive and very upbeat as well.
I can imagine you do. Yeah.
This is my 13th year of teaching elementary school music. I actually, both of my degrees are in music ed.
Right.
I don't have performance degrees. That makes me a little bit of an atypical church musician in that regard. A lot of
but
people
you're great at working with children's choirs and things like that because you know how to handle them. All right.
And I actually conduct one of the all-county choruses as well. We have 3 auditioned 5th grade, so children ages 10 and 11, that can audition to be part of all-county, and we have 3 of these because Montgomery County is so large. We have over 300 schools just in this one county.
300?
Yes, a lot of schools.
Busy area, isn't it?
That's primary and secondary, like all combined. But the audition group is about 200 to 220 singers. And we have a 3-month rehearsal period. They learn a program of about 10 pieces, and they do their concert in May every year. And I've been the conductor of the Central County Honors Chorus since 2018.
Wow. You're busy, aren't you?
Yes.
But you love what you do.
I do, yes.
So we're going to talk about what we're going to do tonight in a little bit, but what would be your advice to somebody thinking about taking up music? What would be your advice?
Get involved in as many music-related things as you possibly can, because I have the sort of problem that I am not really specialized in one area, and I think that's because my musical tastes and abilities are so broad.
Well, that's good.
And I like to think so too. Yeah. And what I love is that when you're in school, especially like when you go to college, when when there's community choirs, it's all about getting involved in as many different musical things as you possibly can. And that's where you learn, is just from the music making itself. You can sit through methods class after methods class in university and everything.
It's practical, isn't it?
Right, but it's the practical experience that really made me the musician I am today. I've never had an organ lesson in my life, but I play because I wanted to learn. I mean, the piano experience really helped because that was my primary instrument in college. And But like I said, it's really just about exposure and getting yourself involved in as many different musical activities as you can. I mean, I did musical theater in high school. I was in the marching band. I played in the orchestra, and when I got to college, I was in the orchestra again. I played in the jazz band, played trombone in the jazz band, played bass, electric bass. I also play very fluently.
Good electric bass on that.
Oh, I know. I played for the college's gospel choir, so I played electric bass for the gospel choir, and we had touring choir. We went to Europe and got to spend some time in Austria and Germany and the Czech Republic, and it's really just about getting involved in stuff. And one of my music teachers in high school was the one who inspired me to go into music ed and not go into performance, because she said to me, "I think you would be a good teacher." And I said, I have been thinking all this time about going to college to study piano performance. What makes you think that? And she said, look, you can still do the performing, but what you do for the kids is going to make a real difference, and I think that's where your skill set would be best suited. So that's why I went into teaching.
Well, that was great advice, because you obviously are perfect for what you do.
Thank you.
So tonight in the concert, we're going to do something special. You can tell them about
We're playing a piano organ duet of Lord of the Dance, arranged by Joel Rainey.
He's great.
Yes, his arrangements are fantastic.
His jazz stuff is just wonderful.
Well, and it actually wasn't the first arrangement that I had looked at having us play. I actually reached out to the Scott Brothers duo to get music for one of their arrangements, and it was actually Jonathan who emailed me back and said that the music was not available. It was just something that the two of them had made up on the spot, basically. And so I said, okay, well, let's get back to the drawing board. And so we have this arrangement of Lord of the Dance that we're going to play in the concert tonight.
Piano,
and I'm doing the piano part.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a really cool arrangement, and I love what you've done with the registrations on it, because there's different videos of it on YouTube that I've listened to, and every organ is its own thing, and I think that what you've done with the registration for that piece is really, really,
every
really
organ
unique.
to me is like a different person, like some people you don't get on with, and you can't find the sounds that you want in that instrument, but this organ is so versatile.
It has this whole orchestral division that I rarely get to use in the worship service.
So you could link up whatever you wanted to it as well, so you could really go nuts if you wanted to.
Yeah, and there was one Sunday where I played Meditation de Thais as a prelude, and I used the violin stop that was built into the orchestral division. There were people turning their heads, looking back at the organ.
Find out where's the violinist here.
Yeah, exactly, because the organ's not usually up here in the front. We have it in the back of the sanctuary.
It's hard to hear up there, actually, a little bit. It is a bit hard.
Yeah, because we have like the speakers on both sides, but most of the sound comes from up in the front.
Right.
So it's not the easiest to hear.
You've got a playback system, so you can balance it out. Go and have a listen to it.
Oh yeah, I use the sequencer all the time.
Yes.
I'll play something, go walk around the room and listen to my own recordings. And when I first got here, I had one of my good friends who is a very experienced church musician come, and we registered the organ together. He walked around the room a little bit and listened. I would walk around while he played, and we set an entire 12 memories of stuff for hymns.
Wow.
And then plus all the divisional pistons as well.
Yes.
Because it was my first time playing on a 3-manual organ when I came to this church.
Right.
So
it's easier.
Oh my gosh, yes. You can do so much more with 3 keyboards.
Small organs are difficult to play, because you're limited to what you can do.
Right. I mean, you do only have 2 hands.
I know, but you've got more choice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, I have so enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to tonight.
Me too.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Us for On the Bench.
Thank you.
We'll look out for more from you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
That's good. Really good.
Cool. Thank you.
Good.
This is a very sharp room.
It is actually.
It's the acoustics in here are very deceptive, because you come in and you're like, oh, carpet.
Yeah, I know.
But then you're like, oh, this really high wooden ceiling here.
But when people are here, does it change?
Little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. The bodies in the room will soak up some of the sound.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.